A very good morning to all of you, and once again greetings to all of you from the Govardhan Eco Village where I'm currently staying and doing this Facebook live sessions for the 21 days habit challenge. So many different people from so many different parts of the world logging in. My sincere greetings and gratitude to all of you once again for joining us on the fourth day of the 21 days habit challenge. A quick recapitulation of what we discussed in our session yesterday morning. We heard that the time taken to deal with our habits is actually dependent on many factors. The two primary factors being, one, how long have we been into that habit and how deep it has sunk into our systems, and number two, how intense our efforts are, how hard are we working to really get rid of that habit. So depending on how long, how deep and how intense our efforts are, we would be able to achieve success in dealing with those bad habits that we are conditioned by. The second thing that we discussed yesterday morning was, as soon as we decide to make a resolve to do right and live by the right, we're going to be tested for what we decide. We always have two choices. One is to listen to our lower self and indulge. Two is to listen to our higher self and improve. Every single time we listen to our lower self, we are going to lose the strength to say no to that temptation the next time it comes. And every single time we say a yes to our higher self by abstaining or staying away from that temptation, we are rewarded with the strength to say a no to that temptation next time, and block by block, as we build on our strength, one day we'll be off that habit. And the third thing that we discussed yesterday was, yes, we have to grow up, and the only reward we would want for ourselves if we pass the test after test, is the pleasure of doing it right and offering it as a loving offering to God. But simultaneously, I also think in the beginning it is important that we set a certain small reward for ourselves. If we are doing things right over a period of 5-6 months, if we decide a target, maybe we can reward ourselves with a small something, whatever that reward might be for us, and that could be a motivation to continue struggling and dealing with our bad habits, at least in the beginning. Our reflection for day 4 of the 21-day habit challenge is this. We all want to be extremely smart. We want to be smart in achieving those things that we want in our lives. And management experts and researchers have said that if we want to achieve what we want in our lives smartly, we must also be able to set smart goals. And they have said that unless we set smart goals, it is very difficult for us to reach where we want to be in our lives. And SMART is a very smart acronym for our SMART goals. The S in the SMART stands for specific. We should be able to make our goals specific. And on the very first day, we discussed about this. Identify that one specific bad habit that we want to deal with. And I believe most of you have done that. Become very specific about the goal you want to achieve in terms of dealing with your bad habits. The second one, the M in the SMART, stands for measurable. Now this is something that we haven't discussed over the last 3 days, and our reflection for day 4 will focus more on the measurable side of the SMART goal. The A in the SMART stands for attainable. We even discussed this, that whatever goal we are setting for ourselves should be attainable. It should be within our capacity to deal with. If we go to the gym for the first day, we cannot be having a barbell press straight away. We should start with what is attainable, what is within our capacity, those small little dumbbell shoulder presses. Those little tiny micro installments that we want to make, those little increments that we want to make in trying to reach our goals, attainable. The R in the SMART stands for realistic. Our goals should be realistic. They shouldn't just be wishful thinking. Like if I'm a tiny, skinny little fellow, and if I want to be a strong bodybuilder the next day, it's just wishful thinking. Our goals should be realistic. If any of you want to be the President of the United States, the Prime Minister of England, or the Prime Minister of India, or the President of Canada, or the Chief Minister of Gujarat, whatever you want might to be, you might want to be that. Fair. But that's just wishful thinking. Your goal is not realistic. So our goal should be realistic, not just a wishful dream. And last but not the least, the T in the SMART stands for our goals, and the way we achieve them should be time-bound. Let's say, for example, if we are dealing with a certain habit, to quit smoking as an example. Let's give ourselves 6 months or 8 months, and with those micro installments, go on reducing to a stage where we come to zero extremely comfortably. Our goal should be time-bound. Give 6 months, 8 months, whatever you want to for your particular habit. And then you should also be able to achieve that based on the time that you've set for yourself. Ladies and gentlemen, what we want to dwell on this morning in our reflection on the 4th day is the M in the SMART. How to make our goals and our progress measurable. How do we track our progress as we move in our journey to deal with these bad habits over the time that we have set for ourselves? And it's really important that we be able to track our progress and measure our programs. Otherwise, it's just something wishy-washy going on in our minds. Otherwise, it's something wishy-washy going in our lives. We're not truly committed to something unless we are able to measure the tangible progress that we make in our journey and in our development in dealing with these bad habits. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we have to look at the measurable side of our goals in terms of dealing with our habits. So here's my suggestion for day 4. I feel we need to start writing down the progress that we are making in our journey of dealing with our bad habits. This is why I truly recommend writing a habit journal every single day as we are taking this 21-day habit challenge, and even thereafter till we actually completely chuck that habit out of our lives. Yes, we can keep all this information in our mind. I know we would say, what's the need to write down? We can remember it. But will we be able to remember so much information over so many days as we are dealing with the goal of our bad habits? I doubt. If you can, no problem. You can just keep it in your mind. But ideally, it's just better that we start writing a habit journal. Here is how I would prefer to write a habit journal. Page 1, I would like to put down an inspiring quote. Thing that inspires me is this: if you believe in a God, I believe in one. I would like to write this as the inspiring quote. I mentioned that on the first day. If we are beautiful, it's God's gift to us. If we live our life beautiful, it's our gift to God. On the second page of the habit journal, I would like to write the S, the specific goal, the habit that we have identified to deal with in bold capital letters. I would then like to write the A in the SMART, the attainable goal, the micro installment that we have decided for ourselves to take in terms of dealing with our habit, reducing something regularly. And I would also like to write the T, the time over which I would like to deal with this habit. 6 months, 8 months, 10 months, a year, whatever is practically possible for us. And I would also like to write down the specific reward that I want to give myself at the end of this time if I deal with that bad habit. The reward could be a watch, like I said. It could be a pair of good sports shoes. It could be a new outfit for yourself. It could be a holiday that you want to take. Whatever reward, jot it down. And the next page onwards, I think we should start mapping and jotting down our daily progress. Every single day, put down the date and the day, and write down at the end of the day, how did you do throughout the day? If you were successful in sticking to that installment and you did not falling into that temptation that you decided you don't want to fall to, then just write down what were those parameters, what were those elements, what were those factors that actually made you succeed. Did it happen by coincidence? Were you conscious of avoiding it? Was the people around? Were you staying away from the surroundings and temptations that were kind of responsible for your bad habit? What were you doing? Were you praying? Were you chanting? What was it that was responsible? Write down those parameters. Carry that to your next day. Enhance your performance in terms of achieving that goal in your bad habit the next day. Jot down. If you fail and you're not able to keep up, write down what were those responsible factors and elements and parameters that made you fail. Was it the people who were discouraging you? Were you very mentally worked up? Was it the stress because of which you, for example, started smoking again, the number of cigarettes that you decided you wouldn't want to smoke? Was it the people around you who triggered that impulse, and therefore, although you decided you didn't want to be angry, you got angry? How can you stay away from those situations? Analyze every single day. Jot down those parameters, those principles, those factors, those elements which were either responsible for your success or your failure. Map your progress. Track your progress. Over a week's time, you'll be able to see the number of days that you were successful, the number of days you were failure, the factors were responsible for your success, the factors responsible for your failure. Over a period of a month, you will be able to clearly track your progress. You will be able to have a graph, a pie chart in saying how your progress is moving towards its destination. This kind of a habit journal will make our progress measurable, and the more you see measurable, tangible result in how you are moving towards your goal, you will feel confidence and inspiration to take that next step in your progress. And if you see you're not doing very well, you will have to work on building that confidence and taking those small steps to improve. And therefore, if you want to write it down in a book, fine. If not, I'm sure each of you use a smartphone, and on your smartphones you can start jotting down your SMART goals and your habit journal in progressing towards those SMART goals. Day 4, our reflection is make your goals measurable. Start writing a habit journal. Track your progress every single day. Observe yourself all over the week. How have you done through the week? Observe yourself over the month. How have you done over the month? And take that next step to improve in your habits. I wish to thank all of you once again for joining us on the 4th day of our 21 days habit challenge, and wish you all a great day ahead and a great journey in your measured SMART goals in making progress in dealing with your habits. See you tomorrow once again at Indian Standard Time, 8 o'clock on the 5th day of our 21 days habit challenge. Until then, thank you very much. A great day ahead. Hare Krishna.